horror fans, once again, it is me, the Horror Miser Monty G. Yes, it's time to do another movie review. We're going to review the latest horror movie from Kevin Bacon, You Should Have Left. Oh boy. Now, You Should Have Left is a 2020 American psychological horror film. This was written and directed by David Koepp. I think I pronounced his name correctly. It's based upon a German novel of the same name by Daniel Claremont. Now, this stars Kevin Bacon, Amanda Seyfried, and Avery Essex. Now, in this particular setup, a former banker, his actress wife, and their spirited daughter booked a vacation in an isolated modern house in the Welsh countryside where nothing is quite as it seems. I would definitely say that's correct because nothing happens in this movie. Now, I don't know about you, but it seems that horror filmmakers are falling in love with the spooky, isolated house cliche, as we have another one here from writer-director David Koepp. Now, in this setting, he's teaming back up with Kevin Bacon. You know, they did the wonderful Stir of Echoes, and based upon the German short story of the same name by Daniel Cleo, Theo Conroy, that's Kevin Bacon's character, decides to take his actress wife Susanna, played by Amanda Seyfried, and their daughter Ellie to a secluded manor house in the outskirts of Wales. Yet we've seen this set before. Remember the lodge? Hey, remember Becky? It seems like we've been seeing this all throughout this year. They even did it in The Turning. As usual, weird shit starts to happen. Theo and Susanna start fighting. We had the child in danger cliche. There's no cell phone reception. Always these type of settings you have in this type of horror movie. We've seen this stuff so many times before. Now, you would believe that with Kevin Bacon on board, and we all know how great Stir of Echoes was. If you didn't, I suggest you recommend it. It was a great horror film that really no one doesn't get the love that it deserves. You think that Koepp would create a decent supernatural film like they did before. However, despite the nice-looking modern setting and having the beautiful Wales countryside as a backdrop, what we have here is a dull and very boring horror movie. I mean, nothing happens in this movie, as I stated before. I mean, there is no suspense, no atmosphere, no tension. I mean, along with the dull acting and the lack of anything scary, this was a poor and lackluster attempt in creating anything spooky. Now, one of the problems this movie had was that there were two different premises being marketed. In one, Theo was a screenwriter who was suffering from writer's block and decided he needed to get away in order to complete the story. Now, that was actually part of the basis in the short story. That's the short story. However, in the movie that was released, he's a rich ex-banker who was accused of murdering his first wife, in which he was acquitted, but is still a pariah in the town that they was in due to the huge publicity the case drew. You know, think about OJ. Yeah, that's what the story they went with. But unfortunately, I believe in some of the trailers and some of the marketing ads, they actually had him being a screenwriter with a writer's block, and he was supposedly had this huge film that did very successful. He's writing a sequel, but he was writer's block, so in order to get away, they decided to go to the countryside in Welsh. But that's not what we see in the movie. Due to what I saw in the movie, another problem I have is that we don't see any of this in the first act of the movie regarding his accusations and acquittal of the trial. I mean, I get that David was trying to build the family dynamic so that the audience can bond with them, but I think it would have been nice to see Theo in public and seeing people staring at him. I think this would have caused, well, obviously something's happened to him, and along with some of the stuff that we see him and Susanna talk with when their daughter Ellie is not in the screen, but it's not until the second act of the movie that the audience learns about Theo's past. I think it would have been better to see him out and about in town, going about his business, and people just looking like he's weird. You can see the looks at their faces. I think it would have done that. I think it would have built some nice tension into the film, and probably would have given the right amount of tension and built his character better than for us not having to know anything about Theo's character or his past until we get to the second act, which Susanna tells Ella about his backstory. Now, another problem I have with the film is the setting. Now, we only have the main three characters in the film, Theo, Susanna, and Ella. Now, I figured that Jason Blum, this is produced by his Blumhouse production company, wanted to keep the budget low on this one. I think there was only about $4 million spent on this film. And while the house looks nice, it just doesn't fit the type of tone we've seen in horror movies like this one. Don't get me wrong, I like the house. It looks beautiful. It's very modern, but it's not creepy looking or scary. Like I said, it seemed too modern, too 20th century looking. One of the most important things in creating an effective haunted house tale is that the house itself, and this one simply doesn't cut it. I mean, it's nice to see a modern house in the English countryside, especially in the Welsh countryside, but to me, it just didn't fit. Another problem I have with this film is the acting. As much as I love Kevin Bacon, he's done some good quality work in his time. I especially loved him in the TV show The Killings. He doesn't bring any life to Theo here. I mean, he tries to give Theo the type of right emotions that a man like Theo should be suffering through, but Koepp's script doesn't help Kevin at all. He spends much of his time staring in wonderment, especially when the weird shit starts happening in the house. But it's like with a blank face with no emotion. It's just like he's just staring in nothing. Amanda Seyfried doesn't do anything to give Susanna life as well. One of the things I find fascinating is that we don't know when Theo and Susanna met, but I'm sure we should see some frustration in Susanna having to defend marrying a man who was acquitted of murdering his first wife. There should be some type of agony or at least some type of aged look on her face. Now, I understand that she's an actress and she's supposed to look beautiful, but here Susanna seems too happy-go-lucky all the time. I'm sure she wants to believe her husband to be innocent, and I'm pretty sure that's what she's going with because he told her that he was innocent, and she wants to believe him. Not even the so-called wife might be cheating cliches that we get around to the middle of the movie where he thinks his wife might be cheating on her, but it doesn't build any chemistry between Amanda and Kevin that makes you believe that they're a couple. And I feel sorry for Avery Essex, who plays Theo and Susanna's daughter Ella. She's the only one I actually found believable in this mess. And at least she's not an annoying, and she only wanted her mother and father to be together as a family. Like I said, I found her performance very believable. I thought she was the best thing out of this whole movie. Now, if you're looking for anything scary, as I mentioned before, there's nothing scary in this one. You'll get the usual jump scares you normally would see in this type of movie, but you see them coming a mile away. There's nothing frightening, terrifying, or suspenseful enough to make the audience care about this family. And I won't even talk about the final act, which won't surprise anyone at all. Oh boy. I mean, I guess David was trying to do something different here, and I guess that's the reason why he went to modern setting and tried to tell it in a different way. But, it's just nothing happens here. It's filmed great. I'll give him credit for that. Nice cinematography. We get some nice shots of the Wales countryside. Like I said before, it's just dull. Nothing happens. So, despite having Kevin Bacon and the Wales countryside as a backdrop, this was one very uneventful, dull haunted house horror movie. I'll say this, you should not have to see this one. So, I'm going to give You Should Have Left only 1 out of my 5 bloody gold coins. It's only going to get 1 out of my 5 bloody gold coins. Like I said, nothing really happens. Just my take. I'm pretty sure some people might get some enjoyment out of this because it's Kevin Bacon after all. And like I said, I love Kevin Bacon too, but just not in this one. Just too dull. Now, You Should Have Left just came out on VOD yesterday, so you can watch it on Comcast On Demand. I think it might be available on Amazon Prime. I don't know, but if you have Comcast VOD or any other VOD systems like Hulu or any other streaming services, you might be able to catch it there. And if you have seen it, what do you think about it? Did you find it as dull and boring as I did, or did you enjoy it? Leave your comments down in the comment section below and tell me what you thought about You Should Have Left. And there you have it. That's my review and video for today, guys. Hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, please hit that subscriber button and ring that notification bell. That way you'll be notified anytime when I put up new videos such as this one. Also, all my social media links will be in the description box below as well. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G. And always remember, horror rules. I'll see you in my next video. I'm out.